My name is Tom Callahan, and I'm about to tell you how I became the most dangerous man in North Dallas without throwing a single punch. Let me start with this. After 15 years of marriage, I'd perfected the art of being invisible. Not the superhero kind, the pathetic kind. The kind where your wife talks about you like you're furniture while you're standing right there. The kind where her friends forget your name even though you've hosted them for dinner dozens of times. The kind where you realize one Tuesday morning that if you disappeared, the only person who'd notice would be your boss wondering why the Henderson project wasn't finished. That Tuesday was 3 months ago. Today is Friday, and Lena is about to discover what happens when invisible men stop playing nice. I'm sitting in my 2018 Honda Civic outside Starbucks on McKinney Avenue, watching my wife through the window. She's at her usual table with Tasha Martinez and Rachel Chen, her closest friends and partners in what I've come to think of as the sacred order of suburban entitlement. Lena's wearing the black dress I bought her for our anniversary last year, the one she claimed was too boring until she started meeting Eric Mason again. Eric. Even thinking his name makes my jaw clench. Lena's college boyfriend, the one who got away, who's suddenly back in Dallas after 10 years running some vague consulting business in Austin. The kind of guy who wears $1,000 suits and drives a black Mercedes S-Class with vanity plates that read A. Mason 1. The kind of guy who thinks charm is a substitute for character and money is a substitute for personality. The kind of guy my wife has been texting at 2 a.m. for the past 6 weeks. I adjust my position in the driver's seat and focus on their conversation. The Starbucks has those big windows, and I've gotten pretty good at reading lips lately. Necessity breeds strange skills. Tasha is gesturing wildly, her Botoxed forehead somehow managing to convey excitement despite its chemical paralysis. Told him I needed space to think, she's saying. But really I just wanted to see if Brad would fight for me. Rachel nods sagely, swirling her venti caramel macchiato. Men need to be reminded they're replaceable. It keeps them motivated. And then Lena, my beautiful, manipulative wife, leans forward with that conspiratorial smile I used to think was reserved for me. Honestly, girls, I think I'm done settling. Life's too short to waste on men who don't appreciate what they have. Tasha claps her hands together. Yes, you deserve someone who sees your worth, someone who makes you feel alive again. Someone who drives a Mercedes, Rachel adds with a laugh. They all laugh, even from 30 feet away, through glass and traffic noise. Their laughter cuts through me like broken glass. Not because it hurts, I'm past that now, but because it confirms everything I've suspected for months. My phone buzzes. A text from Lena. Working late again tonight, don't wait up. I type back, no problem, love you. She doesn't respond. She never does anymore. I start the Honda and pull out of the parking lot, already planning my next move. See, the thing about being invisible is that people forget you're watching. They forget you're listening, they forget you have access to joint bank accounts, shared credit cards, and 15 years' worth of accumulated knowledge about their deepest insecurities and most embarrassing secrets. They forget that mechanical engineers are really just professional problem solvers. And Lena has become a very interesting problem indeed. My phone rings as I'm driving home. Pete Kowalski, my work partner and the closest thing I have to a best friend. Pete's the kind of guy who says what everyone else is thinking but is too polite to voice. In our line of work, that's invaluable. Tom, you sound like garbage, he says without preamble. What's eating you? Just the usual domestic bliss, I reply, turning onto our street. How's the Henderson project coming? Don't change the subject. You've been walking around the office like someone stole your lunch money for weeks. Talk to me. I pull into my driveway, our driveway, and stare at the house Lena and I bought 7 years ago. 2-story, colonial, perfectly manicured lawn. The kind of place that screams successful middle-class couple with their act together. The kind of lie that looks great from the outside. Pete, hypothetically speaking, if you discovered your spouse was planning to trade up, how would you handle it? There's a long pause. Jesus, Tom. Are we talking hypothetically, or are we talking about Lena? We're talking about a woman who thinks she deserves better than the man who spent 15 years building a life with her. A woman who's been texting her ex-boyfriend at all hours. A woman who's forgotten that her husband is a lot smarter than he looks. Hell, I'm sorry, man. What are you going to do? I get out of the car and walk toward the front door, fishing for my keys. I'm going to remind her why invisible men make the most dangerous enemies. Tom, whatever you're planning, don't worry, Pete. I'm not going to do anything illegal. But Lena's about to learn that actions have consequences. And Eric Mason is about to discover that some men don't give up their territory without a fight. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I hang up and unlock the front door. The house is empty, of course. Lena won't be home until after midnight if she comes home at all. But that's perfect. I have work to do. I boot up my laptop and open our joint banking account. Lena has always been happy to let me handle the finances. She considers it beneath her, part of the mundane responsibilities that come with being married to a practical man like me. What she doesn't realize is that practical men keep detailed records of everything. Every purchase, every transfer, every automatic payment. I know exactly where our money goes, how much we have, and more importantly, how much we owe. I know that Lena's been using our joint credit card to buy expensive lunches and new clothes, the kind of clothes you wear when you're trying to impress someone. I know she's been getting her hair done twice as often and has started going to a more expensive salon. I know she's been preparing to leave me, probably after she's sure Eric is ready to commit. What she doesn't know is that I've been preparing too. I spend the next 2 hours moving money around, not stealing. It's our joint account, after all, but redistributing, consolidating, preparing. I transfer most of our savings to a new account in my name only, leaving just enough in the joint account to cover this month's mortgage and utilities. I pay off my credit cards and set up automatic payments for my personal account. I even prepay my car insurance for the next year. Then I do something that would have been unthinkable 6 months ago. I max out Lena's credit cards. Not on anything for me, on things for her. Expensive things. The kind of luxury purchases she's always wanted, but that we agreed were too frivolous. A new handbag from Nordstrom, shoes from that boutique she's always drooling over, a spa day package at the resort downtown, all scheduled for delivery or appointment over the next week, all purchased with money we don't actually have, now that I've moved our savings, all creating a paper trail that will be very interesting when the bills come due. My laptop chimes with an email notification. It's from Lena's iCloud account. We've shared passwords for years, another casualty of her trust in my practical nature. The email is a confirmation for dinner reservations at Mirador, the most expensive restaurant in Dallas, for tomorrow night. For 2 people. She hasn't mentioned dinner plans to me. I forward the email to myself, then delete it from her account. Let her wonder why she didn't get the confirmation. Let her worry that something went wrong with the reservation. Let her stress about disappointing Eric on what's clearly meant to be a romantic evening. I'm just getting started. My phone buzzes with another text from Lena. Going out with the girls after work. Will be very late. I check the timestamp on the restaurant reservation. 7 p.m. tomorrow. I check Lena's calendar, which she's never bothered to make private. No mention of dinner plans, but there's a new entry. Personal appointment, 6:30 p.m. Personal appointment? Right. I text back. Have fun. I'll probably be working on the Henderson project anyway. This time, she responds immediately. You work too much. Try to relax. The irony is almost funny. For 15 years, she's complained that I don't work hard enough, don't make enough money, don't have enough ambition. Now that she's planning to replace me with someone who has all those things, suddenly she's concerned about my work-life balance. I close the laptop and walk to the kitchen, opening a beer and standing at the window that looks out onto our backyard. We used to talk about getting a dog, maybe having kids. We used to plan vacations we never took and dream about renovating the kitchen. We used to be a we. Now we're just 2 people sharing a mortgage and a last name, and apparently she's decided even that's too much commitment. My phone rings again. This time it's a number I don't recognize. Tom Callahan? Speaking. This is Detective Morrison with Dallas PD. I'm calling about your neighbor, Mrs. Krantz. She asked me to contact you about some suspicious activity in your neighborhood. Mrs. Krantz is 83 years old and has lived next door for 40 years. She knows everything that happens on our street, usually before it happens. She's also the closest thing I have to an ally in this suburban wasteland. What kind of suspicious activity? She says there's been a black Mercedes parked on your street several times over the past few weeks, always late at night. The driver sits in the car for extended periods, watching houses. She's concerned about burglary. I almost laugh. Mrs. Krantz isn't concerned about burglary. She's telling me she knows about Eric, and she's giving me official documentation of his presence in the neighborhood. Bless that woman. I appreciate her vigilance, Detective. Has she gotten a license plate number? Doctor, she has. We ran it, and the car belongs to Eric Mason. You know him? He's my wife's friend from college. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. Probably not, but we'll keep an eye on things. Mrs. Krantz asked me to tell you she'd like to chat with you when you have a chance. Something about Neighborhood Watch. I'll stop by tomorrow. Thanks for calling. I hang up and smile for the first time in weeks. Mrs. Krantz is telling me she's on my side and she's giving me information I can use. Eric's been staking out my house, probably waiting for me to leave so he can spend time with Lena here. In my house, in my bed. That stops now. I finish my beer and head upstairs to our bedroom. Lena's side of the closet is organized with military precision. Everything arranged by color and season, shoes lined up like soldiers. She's always been particular about her appearance, but lately she's been obsessive. New clothes, new perfume, new everything. I open her jewelry box and remove the diamond earrings I gave her for our 10th anniversary. Not to keep. I'm not a thief. But I take photos of them, along with the necklace from our wedding and the watch I bought her last Christmas. Then I carefully document the serial numbers and purchase information for everything valuable in the house. Electronics, jewelry, art, everything that could be considered community property. Because when this is over, I want to make sure I get exactly what's mine. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Stop calling her. She's made her choice. Eric. He's gotten my number somehow, probably from Lena, and he's feeling confident enough to threaten me directly. The arrogance is breathtaking. I text back, I think you have me confused with someone who cares about your opinion. His response comes immediately. We need to talk, man to man. I agree, but not tonight. I'm busy moving money around. You understand? There's a long pause before his next message. What's that supposed to mean? I don't respond. Let him wonder. Let him worry. Let him ask Lena what kind of man she's been married to for 15 years, and let her realize she doesn't actually know. I spend the rest of the evening researching Eric Mason. Social media profiles, business records, property ownership, everything I can find about the man who thinks he can walk into my life and take what's mine. What I discover is interesting. Eric's consulting business is legitimate but small. He drives an expensive car and wears expensive clothes, but he rents a modest apartment and has significant credit card debt. His social media is full of photos from expensive restaurants and luxury events, but always as someone's guest, never as the host. Eric Mason is a man living beyond his means, projecting success he doesn't actually possess. He's exactly the kind of man who would see my stable, comfortable life and decide he wants it for himself. Unfortunately for Eric, he's about to learn that stable, comfortable men can be the most dangerous opponents of all. We have everything to lose, which means we'll do anything to win. And I'm very, very good at winning. Saturday morning arrives gray and drizzling, the kind of weather that makes Dallas look like a discount version of Seattle. I'm up at 6, which is normal for me, but apparently suspicious to Lena, who emerges from the bedroom at 8:30 looking like she's been hit by a truck. You're up early, she says, pouring coffee with shaking hands. Late night with the girls, my rear end. She smells like expensive cologne, not mine. Henderson project? I reply, not looking up from my laptop. Crisis management. She nods absently, already checking her phone. 3 missed calls and a dozen text messages. Her face goes through an interesting series of expressions, confusion, concern, then carefully controlled panic. Everything okay? I ask, though I already know the answer. The restaurant called to confirm her reservation, the one I deleted the confirmation for. Fine, just work stuff. She disappears back upstairs and I hear her on the phone, her voice rising with stress. What do you mean you don't have us down for tonight? I made that reservation 2 weeks ago. I smile and return to my laptop. Phase 1 is proceeding perfectly. My phone rings. Pete again. Please tell me you didn't do anything stupid last night, he says. Define stupid. Tom, I'm serious. You sounded like a man planning something irreversible. Relax, Pete. I just moved some money around and did some research. All perfectly legal and completely justified. Research on what? Eric Mason. Did you know he's been investigated twice by the Better Business Bureau? Apparently his consulting firm has a habit of over-promising and under-delivering. His client satisfaction rating is terrible. Why does that matter? Because Lena thinks she's trading up for a successful businessman. She deserves to know what she's really getting. Pete sighs. You're going to destroy your marriage. Pete, my marriage was destroyed the moment she started texting another man at 2 a.m. I'm just making sure the debris lands where it belongs. I hang up and check my email. 3 confirmations for the purchases I made on Lena's credit cards. The handbag will arrive Monday. The shoes Tuesday. The spa appointment is scheduled for Thursday. By Thursday, those credit cards will be maxed out and the bills will be due. By Thursday, Lena will discover that her comfortable financial cushion has evaporated. By Thursday, she'll realize that leaving me isn't as simple as she thought. Lena comes back downstairs dressed in her workout clothes, expensive athletic wear that's never seen the inside of a gym. She's still on the phone, her voice tight with frustration. I don't care what your system shows. I need a table for tonight, and I need it at 7 o'clock. She catches me watching and forces a smile, mouthing restaurant mix-up as if I care about her dinner plans. I nod sympathetically and return to my laptop. She finishes her call and grabs her purse. I'm going out for a while, errands and stuff. See you tonight, I say. Actually, I'm having dinner with Rachel. We're going to that new place downtown. The lie comes so easily that I almost admire her technique. Smooth, casual, with just enough detail to sound believable, but not enough to be verified. Have fun, I reply. I'll probably order pizza and work on the project. She kisses my forehead, a gesture so perfunctory it feels like a business transaction, and leaves. I wait exactly 30 minutes, then drive to Mrs. Krantz's house. Eleanor Krantz answers the door wearing a floral housecoat and a knowing smile. She's a tiny woman with steel gray hair and sharp blue eyes that miss nothing. In another era, she would have been a spy or a detective. In suburban Dallas, she's the neighborhood intelligence network. Tom dear, come in. I've been expecting you. Her living room is a museum of mid-century furniture and family photos, dominated by a picture window that offers a perfect view of my house and the entire street. Mrs. Krantz has been watching our neighborhood like a hawk for 40 years, and nothing happens without her knowledge. I understand you've been having some late-night visitors, she says, settling into her favorite chair with a cup of tea. So I heard. Detective Morrison said you got a license plate number. Emerson 1. Vanity plates make surveillance so much easier. She opens a small notebook and shows me pages of meticulous handwriting. He's been here 11 times in the past 6 weeks, always between 10 p.m. and midnight. Always parks 3 houses down, probably thinks he's being subtle. What else have you noticed? Mrs. Krantz's smile turns predatory. Your wife has been dressing differently. New clothes, new hairstyle, new perfume. She's also been leaving the house more often and staying out later. Classic signs of an affair, though I'm sure you've figured that out already. I nod. Any idea what they're planning? From what I've observed, I'd say she's planning to leave you for him. The question is when and how. She leans forward conspiratorially. But here's what she doesn't know. Eric Mason isn't nearly as successful as he pretends to be. You've been investigating him? Dear, I've been investigating everyone in this neighborhood since 1983. It's my hobby. She flips to another page in her notebook. Mr. Mason drives a leased Mercedes, rents a furnished apartment, and has defaulted on 2 business loans in the past 3 years. He's what my generation would call all hat and no cattle. Lena doesn't know any of this? Men like Eric Mason are very good at projecting success. They know how to dress, where to be seen, what to say, but they're essentially parasites, looking for someone stable to attach themselves to. She closes the notebook and fixes me with a steady gaze. The question is, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to make sure Lena gets exactly what she deserves. And what about Mr. Mason? He's going to discover that some men don't give up without a fight. Mrs. Krantz nods approvingly. Good. I never liked him. Too smooth, too charming. Men like that are usually compensating for something. She stands and walks to her window, looking out at my house. You know, Tom, I've watched you and Lena for 7 years. You're a good man, steady, reliable, honest. She's lucky to have you, though I don't think she realizes it. She's about to. What can I do to help? I'm touched by the offer, but not surprised. Mrs. Krantz has always been protective of the neighborhood, and she clearly considers me worth protecting. Just keep doing what you're doing. Document everything. If this gets messy, I want evidence of their behavior. It's going to get messy, isn't it? Mrs. Krantz, by the time I'm finished, messy won't begin to cover it. I drive home and spend the afternoon preparing for Phase 2. I create new email addresses, research private investigators, and set up a social media monitoring system to track both Lena and Eric's online activity. Then I do something that would have horrified me 6 months ago. I install surveillance software on our home computer and Wi-Fi network. Not to spy on random activity, but to monitor any communications that might affect our joint finances or property. I tell myself it's protection, not invasion of privacy. The rationalization comes easier than I expected. At 5 o'clock, I order pizza and settle in to wait. Lena's dinner reservation, the one she finally managed to secure after 3 hours of phone calls, is at 7. She'll want to leave by 6:30 to account for traffic and parking. At 6:15, she comes downstairs wearing the black dress again, along with the diamond earrings I photographed last night. She's applied makeup with the precision of a surgeon and sprayed on enough perfume to choke a horse. You look beautiful, I say, and mean it. Lena is genuinely stunning when she makes an effort. It's one of the things that attracted me to her 15 years ago, and one of the reasons this betrayal cuts so deep. Thank you, she replies, checking her reflection in the hallway mirror. Rachel's picking me up in a few minutes. Another lie. I checked Rachel's social media an hour ago. She's at a family barbecue in Fort Worth, posting photos of her nieces and nephews. Tell Rachel I said hello. I will. She kisses my forehead again, the same perfunctory gesture as this morning, and checks her phone. A text message makes her smile, the first genuine smile I've seen from her in months. Have a good time, I say. I will, she replies, and for once, I believe her. She leaves at 6:25, driving her Honda CR-V toward downtown. I wait exactly 10 minutes, then follow in my Civic, staying far enough back to avoid detection but close enough to confirm my suspicions. She doesn't go to any restaurant Rachel would choose. Instead, she drives to Mirador, the most expensive place in Dallas, where Eric Mason is waiting in the valet area wearing a suit that probably costs more than my monthly mortgage payment. I watch from across the street as he opens her car door with exaggerated chivalry, as she laughs at something he says as they walk into the restaurant arm in arm like a couple celebrating an anniversary. My phone buzzes with a text from Lena. Having so much fun with Rachel. This place is amazing. I text back, glad you're enjoying yourself. Love you. No response. I drive home and begin phase 3. Using the surveillance software I installed earlier, I access Lena's email and social media accounts. What I find confirms everything I suspected and reveals several things I didn't. Email threads with Eric going back 2 months, full of romantic nonsense and complaints about her boring marriage. Photos they've taken together during their secret meetings, lunch dates, coffee dates, even a weekend trip to Austin I was told was a girls' retreat with Tasha. But the most interesting discovery is an email thread between Lena and a divorce attorney. She's been researching Texas community property laws, asking about asset division and spousal support. She's been planning this for months, carefully calculating how much she can take from our marriage. What she doesn't realize is that community property laws work both ways, and I've spent the last 24 hours making sure our assets are distributed very differently than she expects. I forward all the relevant emails to my personal account, then delete the forwarding records. Evidence for later when things get complicated. My phone rings at 9:30. Lena. Hi honey, just wanted to let you know I'll be really late tonight. Rachel wants to go to that new bar downtown. Be safe, I reply. I love you. Love you too. The lie comes so easily that I wonder how long she's been practicing it. I spend the rest of the evening researching Eric's business associates, clients, and professional reputation. What I discover is fascinating. Eric Mason is a man living entirely on credit and charm, with a business model that depends on finding new clients before his previous ones realize he's incompetent. He's also been dating at least 2 other women while pursuing my wife, based on his social media activity and the surveillance photos Mrs. Krantz has been taking. Lena thinks she's found her prince charming. What she's actually found is a con man who sees her stable marriage and comfortable lifestyle as his next target. By the time she comes home at 1:30 a.m., smelling like expensive wine and Eric's cologne, I've gathered enough information to destroy both their lives. But I'm not ready to use it yet. First, I want them to get comfortable. I want them to think they're smarter than me, that they're getting away with something. I want them to believe they're winning, because the best revenge isn't served cold. It's served when your enemies think they're safe. Sunday morning brings sunshine and the kind of crisp air that makes Dallas almost tolerable in October. Lena sleeps until noon, then emerges from the bedroom looking guilty and exhausted. She's been out until after 2 a.m. for the past 3 nights, always with increasingly elaborate explanations about where she's been and who she's been with. Good morning, I say, not looking up from my laptop. I'm reviewing the Henderson project files, but I'm also monitoring the surveillance software I installed on our network. Lena's been texting someone since she woke up, probably Eric, based on the frequency and timing of the messages. Morning, she mumbles, heading straight for the coffee maker. Her hands shake slightly as she measures the grounds. Guilt or just exhaustion from maintaining her double life. How was dinner with Rachel? Great. Really great. We went to that new place downtown, then hit a few bars. The lie flows smoothly, but she won't make eye contact. How's your project coming? Almost finished. Should be wrapped up by Wednesday. She nods absently, already checking her phone again. Another message makes her smile, the same secretive, satisfied expression I've been seeing for weeks. I'm going to run some errands today, she says. Grocery shopping, maybe some clothes shopping, girl stuff. Sounds good. I'll probably work most of the day. She disappears upstairs to shower, and I check the surveillance logs. She's been texting Eric for the past hour, and based on the message timestamps, they're planning to meet this afternoon, probably at his apartment, She's been asking about his address and talking about somewhere private. My phone buzzes with a text from Pete. How's the domestic situation? I text back, progressing according to plan. That's what I'm afraid of. Want to grab a beer later? Talk things through? Can't. I'm working. Tom, whatever you're planning, make sure you can live with the consequences. I don't respond. Pete means well, but he doesn't understand the situation. He's been happily married to the same woman for 12 years, with 2 kids and a mortgage and all the comfortable complications of a stable life. He can't comprehend what it's like to discover that your entire marriage has been a performance, that the woman you've loved and supported for 15 years sees you as nothing more than a financial security blanket. But he's about to understand, because I'm going to make sure everyone understands. Lena comes back downstairs wearing jeans and a sweater, casual clothes that somehow look expensive on her. She's applied makeup carefully, styled her hair, and chosen jewelry that suggests she's dressing for someone specific. See you tonight, she says, kissing my forehead with the same mechanical affection she's been showing for months. Have fun shopping. She leaves at 2 o'clock, ostensibly heading to North Park Mall. Instead, she drives directly to Eric's apartment complex in Uptown, a trendy area full of young professionals and people pretending to be young professionals. I know this because I'm following her, staying far enough back to avoid detection, but close enough to document everything. Mrs. Krantz was right. Surveillance is easier when you know what you're looking for. Eric's apartment building is one of those modern glass and steel structures with a fancy name and astronomical rent. The kind of place that looks impressive but has paper-thin walls and amenities that break down constantly. Perfect for a man who values appearance over substance. Lena parks in the visitor section and walks into the building like she owns it. She's been here before, probably multiple times, based on how confidently she navigates the lobby and elevator system. I park across the street and settle in to wait. This is the longest part of surveillance, the patience required to document behavior without interfering. But I've learned patience over the past few months, watching my marriage dissolve one lie at a time. My phone rings. Mrs. Krantz. Tom, dear, are you busy? Not particularly. What's on your mind? I have some interesting information about your situation. Can you stop by when you have a chance? I'm actually in the middle of some reconnaissance right now. Can it wait a few hours? Of course, but Tom, be careful. I've been doing some additional research on Mr. Mason, and what I've found is concerning. Concerning how? He's not just financially unstable, he's dangerous. I found records of restraining orders, harassment complaints, even some assault charges that were dropped. This man has a pattern of targeting married women, and it doesn't end well. My grip tightens on the phone. What kind of pattern? Seduction, manipulation, financial exploitation. He convinces them to leave their husbands, then disappears once he's gotten what he wants. Sometimes with their money, sometimes with their property, always leaving them worse off than before. How many times? At least 3 that I can document, possibly more. Tom, your wife isn't his first target, and she won't be his last. But she might be his most successful conquest if you don't stop this. I close my eyes and lean back in my seat. Lena isn't just cheating, she's being conned by a professional predator. Part of me feels sympathy for her, but a larger part feels vindicated. I'm not losing my wife to a better man. I'm losing her to a criminal who's made a career out of destroying marriages. Mrs. Krantz, can you document everything you found? I have a feeling I'm going to need evidence. Already done. I'll have a complete file ready for you by tonight. Thank you. I owe you dinner at the very least. Just make sure you protect yourself, dear, and be careful how you handle this. Men like Eric Mason don't give up easily. I hang up and stare at the apartment building where my wife is currently betraying 15 years of marriage with a man who's probably already planning how to steal our savings account. The irony is almost funny. Lena thinks she's trading up for a successful, sophisticated man. What she's actually done is paint a target on our backs for a predator who's made a living out of destroying families. But Eric Mason has made one crucial mistake. He's assumed I'm the same kind of weak, passive husband his previous victims were married to. He's assumed I'll roll over and let him take everything I've worked for. He's about to learn how wrong he is. At 4:30, Lena emerges from the building looking satisfied and disheveled. Her hair is messed up, her lipstick is gone, and she has that particular glow that comes from spending 2 hours doing things she shouldn't be doing with someone she shouldn't be doing them with. Eric walks her to her car, his arm around her waist possessively. He's changed clothes since last night, now wearing jeans and a polo shirt that probably cost more than my entire weekend wardrobe. He kisses her goodbye, a long, intimate kiss that makes my stomach turn. Not because I'm jealous, I'm past that now, but because I'm watching my wife being manipulated by a professional con artist, and she's too infatuated to see it. She drives home by a winding route, likely to waste time and make her shopping trip seem believable. I follow from afar, already shaping my next move. By the time I get home, she's already inside, probably showering and changing clothes to eliminate any evidence of her afternoon activities. I sit in my car for a few minutes, organizing my thoughts and checking my phone. 3 missed calls from Pete, 2 text messages asking if I'm okay, and 1 voicemail that I don't bother listening to. Pete is worried about me, but his concern is premature. I'm not the one who should be worried. I go inside and find Lena in the kitchen, unpacking grocery bags with theatrical efficiency. She's bought enough food for a week, along with several shopping bags from stores she clearly visited after leaving Eric's apartment, evidence of her supposed shopping trip, carefully constructed to support her lie. "How was your day?" she asks, not quite meeting my eyes. "Productive. Got a lot of work done. How was shopping?" "Great. Found some cute things at Nordstrom, picked up groceries, ran a bunch of errands." She gestures at the bags like they're proof of her innocence. "What do you want for dinner?" "Whatever you're in the mood for." She starts pulling ingredients out of the grocery bags: salmon, asparagus, rice, an expensive meal, probably chosen to assuage her guilt about spending the afternoon in another man's bed. "Lena," I say, sitting down at the kitchen island, "we need to talk about our finances." She freezes, a package of salmon halfway to the refrigerator. "What about them?" "I've been reviewing our accounts, and I think we need to make some changes. Consolidate some things, maybe open new accounts with better interest rates." "Why? Is something wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I just think we could be managing our money more efficiently." I open my laptop and pull up a spreadsheet I've prepared. "Look at this. If we move our savings to a high-yield account and restructure our credit cards, we could save hundreds of dollars a month." She sets down the salmon and looks at the spreadsheet, but I can tell she's not really paying attention. Lena has always been happy to let me handle the finances, as long as she has access to spending money when she wants it. "That sounds fine," she says. "Do whatever you think is best." "Great. I'll start moving things around tomorrow. You might see some unusual activity on the accounts for a few days, but don't worry about it." She nods absently, already distracted by her phone. Another text message, another secret smile. "Who's texting you?" "Just Tasha. She's having drama with her husband again." Another lie, delivered with the casual confidence of someone who's had plenty of practice. I spend the evening pretending to work while actually monitoring Lena's digital activity. She's texting Eric constantly, making plans for tomorrow, complaining about having to pretend everything is normal with me, talking about their future together. The future they're planning involves Eric moving to Dallas permanently, Lena divorcing me and taking half of everything, and the 2 of them starting a new life with my money. What they don't know is that everything is no longer what they think it is. The money they're planning to steal has been moved. The credit they're planning to use has been maxed out. The comfortable life they're planning to take over has been systematically dismantled. At 11 o'clock, Lena announces she's going to bed early. She's tired from her busy day of shopping, and she wants to be rested for work tomorrow. "I'll be up in a few minutes," I tell her. "Just want to finish this section." She kisses my forehead, the same mechanical gesture that's become our only physical contact, and goes upstairs. I wait until I hear the shower running, then check our credit card accounts online. The purchases I made on Friday have been processed. Lena's cards are now maxed out, with payments due in 2 weeks. I also check the new bank account I opened in my name only. Our savings, nearly $40,000, sit safely beyond her reach, earning interest in an account she doesn't know exists. Tomorrow, Lena will try to access money that's no longer there. Tomorrow, she'll discover that her credit cards are maxed out. Tomorrow, she'll realize that the financial security she's been taking for granted has evaporated. And then she'll have to decide, come clean about her affair and ask for my help, or turn to Eric for the financial support she needs. I'm betting she'll choose Eric, and when she does, she'll discover what Mrs. Krantz already knows. Eric Mason is a predator who targets women exactly like her. But by then, it will be too late. Because while she's been planning to leave me, I've been planning to make sure she gets exactly what she deserves. And what she deserves is Eric Mason, in all his fraudulent, manipulative, financially unstable glory. I close my laptop and head upstairs, already looking forward to tomorrow's revelations. Monday morning arrives with the kind of crisp October weather that makes you forget how miserable Dallas summers can be. I'm up at 5:30, my usual time, but today feels different. Today is the day Lena discovers that actions have consequences. She's still asleep when I leave for work, which is normal. What's not normal is the carefully orchestrated financial crisis that's about to unfold over the next 8 hours. At 7 a.m., I call our bank from my office. "This is Tom Callahan. I need to report suspicious activity on our joint checking account." The customer service representative is professionally concerned. What kind of suspicious activity, Mr. Callahan? Large purchases that neither my wife nor I authorized. I think someone may have accessed our account information. This is technically true. I didn't authorize Lena to spend our money on her affair, and she didn't authorize me to max out her credit cards. I can freeze the account immediately while we investigate. That would be great. Also, I'd like to dispute several recent charges. Can you walk me through that process? By 8 a.m., our joint checking account is frozen, pending investigation. Lena's credit cards are maxed out and flagged for unusual activity. The automatic payments I set up will start bouncing by noon. Phase 4 is now in motion. Pete arrives at the office looking like he hasn't slept, which probably means his wife spent the weekend asking him about my situation. Pete's wife, Jennifer, has always liked Lena, and she's probably worried about our marriage. She has no idea how right she is to be worried. You look like a man with a plan, Pete says, settling at his desk with coffee and a concerned expression. I look like a man who slept well for the first time in months. Tom, I've known you for 8 years. You're not a vindictive person. Whatever you're planning, make sure it's something you can live with. Pete, I appreciate your concern, but this isn't about vindication. It's about justice. What's the difference? Vindication is about making yourself feel better. Justice is about making sure people get what they deserve. He stares at me for a long moment, then shakes his head. I hope you know what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. My phone rings at 9:15. Lena, and she sounds panicked. Tom, something's wrong with our bank account. I tried to use my debit card this morning, and it was declined. Then I called the bank, and they said the account is frozen. What? Why? They said there's been suspicious activity, large purchases that triggered their fraud detection system. Her voice is rising with stress. I can't access any of our money. That's weird. Let me call them from work and see what I can find out. Can you do it now? I have a lunch meeting today and I need to be able to pay for it. A lunch meeting? Right. Probably with Eric, probably at another expensive restaurant, probably planning their next move in their campaign to destroy my life. I'll call them right now and get back to you. Thank you. This is so stressful. I don't understand how this could happen. She hangs up and I smile. She's about to understand exactly how this could happen. I wait exactly 30 minutes, then call her back. Bad news, I say. The bank says it's going to take 3 to 5 business days to resolve the fraud investigation. Until then, the account stays frozen. 3 to 5 days? Tom, I can't wait that long. I have expenses, I have plans. What about your credit cards? There's a pause. A long pause. Because Lena has probably already tried her credit cards and discovered they're maxed out. There's some kind of problem with them, too. The credit card company says I'm over my limit, but that's impossible. How is that impossible? Because I haven't been using them that much. This is fascinating. She's lying to me about maxing out her own credit cards, probably because she doesn't want to admit how much money she's been spending on her affair. Lena, what did you spend the money on? Nothing, just normal stuff. Groceries, gas, a few clothes. Nothing that would max out the cards. A few clothes from where? Another pause. Just, normal places. Nordstrom, that boutique downtown, nothing expensive. I check my records. She spent over $3,000 in the past month on nothing expensive. And that's just what I can document. There are probably cash advances and other transactions I haven't discovered yet. Okay, let me see what I can do. Maybe I can get a cash advance on my credit card to cover your lunch meeting. That would be great. Thank you. She hangs up, and I sit back in my chair, enjoying the moment. Lena is about to have lunch with Eric Mason, and she's going to have to explain why she can't pay for it. She's going to have to ask him for money, which will be humiliating for someone as proud as she is. More importantly, she's going to discover what kind of man Eric really is when she needs financial help. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Your wife seems upset about something. Maybe you should take better care of her. Eric. He's feeling confident enough to taunt me directly, probably because Lena has been complaining to him about our financial problems. I text back, My wife's problems are about to become your problems. Good luck with that. His response comes immediately. What's that supposed to mean? I don't respond. Let him wonder. Let him worry. Let him ask Lena what's going on with our finances, and let her try to explain how 15 years of careful money management suddenly went wrong overnight. At noon, I drive to Mrs. Krantz's house to collect the research she's compiled on Eric Mason. What she's discovered is even worse than I expected. Eric Mason is a professional con artist, she says, handing me a thick folder. He's been running the same scam for at least 5 years, probably longer. I flip through the folder, finding police reports, court documents, and newspaper articles. Eric has been accused of fraud, harassment, and theft in 3 different states. The charges were usually dropped or reduced, probably because his victims were too embarrassed to pursue prosecution. His pattern is consistent, Mrs. Krantz continues. He targets married women in stable relationships, usually women with access to significant assets. He seduces them, convinces them to leave their husbands, then disappears with whatever money he can steal. What happened to his previous victims? Divorce, bankruptcy, social humiliation. One woman lost her house. Another lost custody of her children. All of them ended up worse off than when he found them. I study a photograph of Eric with his previous target, a woman named Patricia Williams from Austin. She's blonde, attractive, and wearing expensive clothes, very similar to Lena in appearance and lifestyle. Where is Patricia Williams now? Working as a waitress in San Antonio, living in a studio apartment, still paying off the debts Eric left her with. Mrs. Krantz fixes me with a steady gaze. Tom, this man is going to destroy your wife's life. The question is, are you going to let him destroy yours too? Not if I can help it. What's your plan? I close the folder and stand up. I'm going to make sure Lena gets exactly what she's asking for. She wants Eric Mason. She can have him, but she's going to get the real Eric Mason, not the fantasy version he's been selling her. How? By making sure she needs him. Right now, she thinks she can leave me and take half of everything. But what if there's nothing to take? What if she has to depend on Eric completely? Mrs. Krantz nods slowly. And when Eric realizes she's not the wealthy woman he thought she was, he'll disappear, just like he always does. And Lena will finally understand what kind of man she chose over her husband. That's cruel, Tom. Yes, it is. But it's also justice. I drive back to work and spend the afternoon implementing Phase 5. I call our mortgage company and explain that we're considering refinancing. I call our insurance companies and ask about policy changes. I call our investment advisor and discuss moving our retirement accounts. All perfectly legal activities that will generate paperwork, phone calls, and confusion. All designed to make our financial situation look much more complicated and unstable than it actually is. At 3 o'clock, Lena calls again. Tom, I need to talk to you about something. Her voice is different, subdued, almost defeated. The lunch meeting with Eric apparently didn't go well. What's wrong? Can we meet somewhere? I don't want to discuss this over the phone. I'm at work until 5:30. Can it wait until tonight? I guess it has to. She hangs up without saying goodbye, which tells me everything I need to know. Eric has shown his true colors, probably by refusing to help with her financial problems or by making demands she's not ready to meet. The predator is getting impatient, and the prey is starting to realize she's in danger. Pete stops by my desk at 4 o'clock, looking worried. Jennifer talked to Lena today. She says Lena sounded really upset about something. Probably just stress from work. Tom, Jennifer thinks Lena might be having an affair. I look up from my computer, genuinely surprised. Really? What makes her think that? Little things. New clothes, different perfume, secretive phone calls. Jennifer says the signs are pretty obvious if you know what to look for. Huh, I hadn't noticed. Pete stares at me for a long moment. You're a better actor than I thought. What's that supposed to mean? It means you've known about this for a while and you've been planning something. Jennifer's worried about Lena, but I'm worried about you. Don't be. Everything's under control. That's what scares me. I drive home at 5:30, preparing for the most important conversation of my marriage. Lena's car is already in the driveway, which means she left work early, probably couldn't concentrate, probably spent the day trying to figure out how to explain our sudden financial crisis. I find her in the kitchen, sitting at the island with a glass of wine and a stack of papers. Bills, bank statements, credit card notices, all the evidence of our imploding finances. We need to talk, she says without looking up. I figured. What's going on? She gestures at the papers. This is what's going on. Our checking account is frozen, our credit cards are maxed out, and I have no idea how any of this happened. Neither do I. I called the bank, but they say it's going to take days to sort out. Tom, I tried to pay for lunch today, and my card was declined. It was humiliating. Where did you have lunch? Just that place downtown, with Rachel. Another lie, but delivered without conviction. She's too stressed to maintain her usual performance. What did Rachel say about the financial stuff? She thinks we should get a lawyer. She says banks don't just freeze accounts without good reason. A lawyer seems extreme. It's probably just a computer error. Lena looks up at me for the first time since I got home. Her eyes are red, either from crying or from stress. and she looks older than she did this morning. Tom, there's something I need to tell you. Here it comes, the confession I've been waiting for. What is it? I think we might be in real financial trouble. More trouble than just frozen accounts and maxed out credit cards. What kind of trouble? I've been getting calls, collection agencies, credit companies. They're saying we owe money on accounts I don't remember opening. This is interesting. Either Eric has been using her identity to open fraudulent accounts, or Lena has been hiding debts from me. Either way, she's finally realizing that her comfortable financial cushion has disappeared. How much money are we talking about? I don't know. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Tom, I'm scared. She starts crying, and for a moment I feel sympathy for her. She's made terrible choices, but she's also being manipulated by a professional criminal. She's not evil, just selfish and naive. But then I remember the text messages, the lies, the months of deception, and the sympathy fades. We'll figure it out, I say. We always do. What if we can't? What if we lose the house, lose everything? Then we'll start over. She looks at me with something that might be gratitude or might be calculation. Tom, I know I haven't been the best wife lately. I know I've been distant and distracted, but I want you to know that I appreciate everything you do for us. Too little, too late. But I nod and smile, playing the role of the supportive husband. We're a team, Lena. We'll get through this together. She reaches across the island and takes my hand, the first voluntary physical contact we've had in weeks. I love you, she says, and for the first time in months, she almost sounds like she means it. I love you too. But love isn't enough anymore. Love doesn't erase months of betrayal and deception. Love doesn't change the fact that she chose another man over me and would still be choosing him if her financial security hadn't evaporated. Love is just another word for the comfortable lie we've been telling ourselves for years. My phone buzzes with a text message. Eric again. She told me about your money problems. Sounds like you can't take care of her anymore. I show the message to Lena. Do you know who this is? Her face goes white. No, I have no idea. Someone knows about our financial situation. Someone who thinks it's funny. Who would do that? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I stand up and walk to the window, looking out at our neighborhood, at Mrs. Krantz's house, at the street where Eric has been stalking my wife for months. Lena, is there anything you want to tell me? Anything that might explain how someone outside our marriage knows about our private financial business? She's quiet for a long time. When she finally speaks, her voice is barely a whisper. No, there's nothing. The last lie, the final deception, the moment when she chooses to protect her affair instead of her marriage. Okay, I say. Then I guess we'll have to figure this out ourselves. But we won't be figuring it out together, because Lena has made her choice, and now she's going to live with the consequences. Tomorrow, Eric Mason will discover that the wealthy, stable woman he's been courting is actually broke and desperate. Tomorrow he'll realize that seducing her has gained him nothing but a liability. And tomorrow, Lena will learn what kind of man she's been betraying her marriage for. I'm almost looking forward to it. Tuesday arrives gray and cold, with the kind of weather that makes you want to stay inside and avoid the world. But I can't avoid today. Today is the culmination of everything I've been planning for the past week. Lena is already gone when I wake up, which is unusual. She's normally a late sleeper, but her note on the kitchen counter explains everything. Gone to handle bank stuff. Back this afternoon. Love you. She's meeting with Eric, probably begging him to help with our financial crisis. She's about to discover what Mrs. Krantz already documented. Eric Mason doesn't help anyone but himself. I call in sick to work, the first sick day I've taken in 2 years, and drive to Mrs. Krantz's house. She's waiting for me with coffee and a grim expression. It's happening today, isn't it? She says. The final phase, yes. Lena's meeting with Eric this morning. She's going to ask him for money. And when he refuses, she'll realize what kind of man she's been planning to leave me for. Mrs. Krantz nods slowly. I have more information about Mr. Mason's current situation. It's not good. She hands me another folder, thicker than the last one. He's being investigated by the Austin police for fraud. Apparently his last victim finally pressed charges. There's also a warrant out for his arrest in Houston, something about forged checks. I flip through the documents, finding police reports and court filings that paint a picture of a man whose criminal career is finally catching up with him. He's running out of places to hide, Mrs. Krantz continues. Dallas was supposed to be his fresh start, but the law is closing in. Your wife isn't just his next victim. She's his last chance. What happens when he realizes she can't help him? Based on his pattern, he'll either disappear immediately or try to take whatever he can get from her before he runs. I close the folder and look out Mrs. Krantz's window at my house. Lena and I built a life there, 15 years of shared memories, dreams, and compromises. It's about to end, and despite everything she's done, I feel a pang of sadness. Mrs. Krantz, do you think I'm doing the right thing? She considers the question carefully. Tom, your wife made her choice when she decided to betray your marriage. You're not destroying her life. You're just making sure she faces the consequences of her actions. It feels cruel. Sometimes the right thing feels cruel, but letting her destroy your life to avoid hurting her feelings would be crueler to yourself. I spend the morning at home, monitoring the surveillance software and waiting for developments. At 11:30, Lena's phone starts showing location data from Eric's apartment building. She's there for 2 hours, long enough for a serious conversation about money and the future. At 1:45, her phone shows movement toward downtown Dallas, probably going to banks, trying to sort out our financial crisis with Eric's help. At 2:15, my phone rings. Lena, and she sounds destroyed. Tom, can you come home? We need to talk. What's wrong? Just, please come home. I can't do this over the phone. She hangs up before I can respond, which tells me everything I need to know. Eric has shown his true colors, and Lena's fantasy of a better life has collapsed. I drive home slowly, preparing for the most important conversation of our marriage. Lena's car is in the driveway, but the house feels different when I walk in. Quieter, sadder, like a place where something important has ended. I find her in the living room, sitting on the couch with tissues and red eyes. She's been crying for hours, and she looks smaller somehow, diminished by whatever Eric told her this morning. What happened? I ask, sitting in the chair across from her. Tom, I have something to tell you, something I should have told you months ago. Here it comes, the confession. I've been seeing someone else, Eric Mason, my college boyfriend. I arrange my face into an expression of shock and hurt, though neither emotion is genuine anymore. What do you mean, seeing someone? I mean, I've been having an affair. For 2 months. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm so sorry. Why are you telling me this now? She wipes her eyes and looks at me directly for the first time in weeks. Because I needed his help today, and he said no. He said our financial problems make me a liability, and he can't afford to be associated with someone who might drag him down. He said that? He said a lot of things. He said I was naive to think he'd want to take on my debts. He said he was looking for a partner, not a charity case. Her voice breaks. He said I should have been smarter about protecting my assets before I started planning to leave you. The cruelty is breathtaking, even for someone like Eric, but it's also perfect. Lena is finally seeing him without the romantic filter that's been distorting her perception for months. Lena, I don't understand. What financial problems? What debts? Our accounts are frozen, our credit cards are maxed out, and apparently we owe money on loans I don't remember taking out. Eric said it sounds like identity theft or fraud, and he can't risk being connected to that kind of investigation. So he abandoned you. He said he never promised me anything permanent. He said I misunderstood what we had together. She starts crying again. Tom, I've been such a fool. I thought he loved me, but he was just using me. I should feel vindicated. I should feel satisfied that my plan worked perfectly. Instead, I just feel tired. Lena, why did you have the affair? Because I felt invisible in our marriage. Because I felt like you took me for granted. Because Eric made me feel special and desired and important. She looks up at me with desperate eyes. But I realize now that what we had was real, and what I had with him was just fantasy. What do you want from me? I want to fix this. I want to save our marriage. I want to prove that I can be the wife you deserve. What about Eric? I never want to see him again. I blocked his number, deleted his contacts, threw away everything he gave me. He's out of my life forever. I stand up and walk to the window, looking out at our neighborhood, at the life we built together and that she tried to throw away for a man who never cared about her. Tom, please say something. I turn back to her, and for a moment, I see the woman I married 15 years ago. Young, hopeful, genuinely remorseful. But I also see the woman who spent months lying to me, who planned to take half of everything and start over with another man, who only came back to me when her other options disappeared. Lena, I need you to understand something. Our financial problems aren't the result of identity theft or fraud. What do you mean? I mean I caused them. I moved our money, maxed out your credit cards, and created the crisis that made Eric abandon you. She stares at me in confusion. That's impossible. Why would you do that? Because I've known about your affair for months. I've been watching you, documenting everything, waiting for the right moment to show you exactly what kind of man you were planning to leave me for. The color drains from her face. You've known? I've known about the text messages, the secret meetings, the dinner dates, the afternoons at his apartment. I've known about your consultation with a divorce attorney and your research into community property laws. I've known everything, Lena. Then why didn't you confront me? Because I wanted you to see Eric's true character. I wanted you to experience what it feels like to need him, so you could discover what kind of man he really is. She's quiet for a long time, processing the implications. When she finally speaks, her voice is barely a whisper. You manipulated me. Yes, I did, just like Eric manipulated you. But you're my husband. You're supposed to love me. I do love you. That's why I wanted to save you from making the biggest mistake of your life. By destroying our finances? The finances can be fixed. Our money is safe. I just moved it to accounts you don't have access to. The credit card debt can be paid off. The crisis I created can be resolved. But our marriage can't be. I sit back down and look at her, really look at her, for the first time in months. She's beautiful, intelligent, and genuinely remorseful. She's also selfish, manipulative, and capable of betraying 15 years of marriage for the fantasy of something better. I don't know, Lena. That depends on you. What do you mean? I mean, you need to decide who you really are. Are you the woman who had an affair and planned to steal half of our assets? Or are you the woman who made a terrible mistake and wants to make things right? I want to make things right. Prove it. How? I stand up and walk to my laptop, opening the folder where I've documented everything about her affair. Photos, text messages, emails, financial records, months of evidence that could destroy her reputation and career. First, you're going to write a complete confession. Every detail of your relationship with Eric, every lie you told me, every plan you made to leave our marriage. I want it all documented. Why? Because trust has to be rebuilt from complete honesty. No more secrets, no more lies, no more hidden agendas. She nods slowly. What else? You're going to quit your job and find new employment. Somewhere that Eric can't contact you, somewhere you can start fresh without the social connections that enabled your affair. Tom, that's my career. Your career will survive. Your marriage might not. What else? You're going to attend counseling, individual therapy to figure out why you were willing to destroy our marriage, and couples therapy so we can rebuild what you tore down. And if I do all of that, then maybe we can save this. Maybe we can build something stronger than what we had before. And if I don't, I close the laptop and look at her directly. Then you can have the divorce you were planning, but you'll get exactly what you deserve from it, which, based on how you've managed our finances lately, won't be much. She's quiet for a long time, weighing her options. Finally, she nods. I'll do it. All of it. Whatever it takes. Why should I believe you? Because I finally understand what I almost lost. Because Eric showed me what my life would be like without you, and I don't want that life. You only came back to me because he rejected you. I came back to you because I realized you're the only man who's ever truly loved me. Eric wanted to use me. You wanted to save me, even after everything I did to hurt you. I want to believe her. Part of me desperately wants to believe that we can rebuild our marriage, that her betrayal was an aberration rather than a revelation of her true character. But trust, once broken, is almost impossible to repair completely. We'll see, I say. We'll see if you mean what you're saying, or if you're just scared of being alone. I mean it, Tom. I swear I mean it. My phone buzzes with a text message. Eric, one last time. You can have her back. She's more trouble than she's worth. I show the message to Lena, and she starts crying again. He never loved me, did he? No, he never did. But you do. Yes, despite everything I do. Then help me fix this. Help me become the woman you fell in love with. I look at her, my wife, my partner, my betrayer, my responsibility, and make the hardest decision of my life. Okay, we'll try. Really? Really. But Lena, understand this. You get one chance. One opportunity to prove that you're serious about rebuilding our marriage. If you lie to me again, if you betray my trust again, if you give me any reason to doubt your commitment, it's over. Permanently. I understand. Good. Now let's start with that confession. I want every detail, and I want it tonight. She nods and wipes her eyes. Tom? Yes? Thank you for saving me from him. Thank you for coming home. It's not forgiveness. That will take time, if it comes at all. It's not trust. That will have to be rebuilt slowly, carefully, with constant vigilance. It's just a chance. No, an opportunity to see if 15 years of marriage can survive 2 months of betrayal. Outside, Mrs. Krantz is probably watching from her window, wondering how the story ends. Pete is probably worrying about my mental state. Eric is probably already planning his next conquest, his next victim, his next attempt to destroy someone else's life. But inside our house, Lena and I are sitting down to write the most important document of our marriage, a complete, honest accounting of how we got here and where we want to go next. It's not the ending I planned when this started. It's not the revenge I thought I wanted, but it might be the justice we both deserve.